Dr. Kim Minna stepped off the transport shuttle and into Station Kepler 7 for the first time. The artificial gravity felt different from Earth's, lighter somehow, making each step feel like she might float away. The station buzzed with activity, as beings from 7 different species moved through the corridors. She had dreamed of this moment for years, but now that she was here, doubt crept into her mind. A tall, crystalline being approached her. Light seemed to bend around its translucent body, creating rainbow patterns on the metal walls. This was Archon Dizis, the leader of the Kethmoran Research Collective. When it spoke, its voice sounded like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Dr. Kim Mina of Earth Dizis said, "You are the first of your species to join our collective. We hope this partnership will be ... productive." Mina bowed slightly, remembering the cultural briefings she had studied. "Thank you for this opportunity, Archon. I won't disappoint you." As they walked through the station, Mina noticed how other researchers stopped their conversations to stare at her. Some whispered among themselves in languages she didn't recognize. The looks weren't friendly. A group of reptilian beings with scaled skin and yellow eyes watched her pass. These were the Sectar she remembered from her briefings. Their leader, a massive creature with scarred scales, hissed something that made the others laugh. "They doubt you," Thesis explained quietly. "Many believe humans are too primitive for this work. Your species has a reputation for violence and chaos." "I understand," Mina replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "I'll prove them wrong." Thesis led her to the main research lab, a vast chamber filled with artifacts from ancient civilizations. Floating holographic displays showed complex equations and star charts. Scientists from different species worked at various stations, but they all stopped when Mina entered. The silence felt heavy. "This is Dr. Kim Mina," Thesis announced. "She will be studying the Nexus Stone." A collective murmur went through the room. Some researchers shook their heads, while others made sounds that Mina guessed were expressions of disbelief. An ethereal being with a body that seemed made of mist and starlight floated forward. This was one of the Morden, ancient and wise. "The Nexus Stone has been studied for 300 years, the Morden said in a voice like distant thunder. "What makes you think a human can succeed where we have failed?" "Maybe fresh eyes will see something you missed," Mina answered, meeting the being's glowing gaze. The Morden made a sound like wind through dead leaves, which Mina realized was laughter. Fresh eyes. How amusing. As the crowd dispersed, muttering among themselves, one small figure approached Mina. It was an insectoid creature, about half her height, with 6 arms and compound eyes that reflected the lab's lights like jewels. Its movements were quick and nervous. "Hello," it said, in accented but clear English. "I am Vek of the Chithari. I wanted to welcome you properly." Mina smiled, the first genuine smile she'd felt since arriving. "Thank you, Vek. That means a lot. I have read your papers on the Martian ruins," Vek continued, his voice excited. "Your pattern analysis methods are very interesting. Different from how we approach problems." "Different how?" "We follow established procedures, test hypotheses in order. You seem to leap to conclusions, then work backward. It's very strange." "Is that bad?" Vek's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "Perhaps not. Perhaps that's exactly what the Nexus Stone needs." Over the following days, Mina settled into her new routine. Most researchers ignored her or spoke about her as if she couldn't understand. She caught fragments of conversations in the common areas. "Humans are so unpredictable. I heard they still fight wars on their home planet. Dices made a mistake, bringing one here." Only Vex seemed genuinely interested in her presence. He would sit with her during meal periods, asking about Earth and human culture. In return, he told her about the different species in the collective and their various strengths and weaknesses. "The Sectar are excellent at systematic analysis," he explained one day. "The Morden have incredible memory and can see patterns across centuries. The aquatic Geth, understand fluid dynamics better than anyone. And humans. Vec paused, considering. I'm not sure yet. But I think you see things we don't. The Nexus Stone sat in the center of the lab like a black pearl the size of a person. It absorbed light instead of reflecting it, creating a dark spot in the room that hurt to look at directly. For 3 centuries, the greatest minds in the galaxy had studied it, running every test imaginable. They had determined it was some kind of storage device from an ancient civilization, but it remained completely inert. Mina approached it cautiously on her 3rd day. Unlike the others, who used instruments and scanners, she simply stood near it and observed. Something about its surface seemed familiar, though she couldn't place why. Interesting approach, a voice said behind her. She turned to see Commander Rask, the scarred sector leader. No instruments, no scans, just ... looking. Sometimes looking is enough, Mina replied. Rask's yellow eyes gleamed with what might have been amusement or contempt. Primitive methods for primitive minds. After he left, Vex scuttled over. Don't mind Rask, he thinks only sectar methods are valid. That night, alone in her quarters, Mina couldn't stop thinking about the stone. There was something about its surface texture, the way shadows fell across it. It reminded her of something from Earth, from her childhood visits to her grandmother's house. The old woman had a collection of river stones, polished smooth by water over countless years. Water flow, patterns carved by time and pressure. Suddenly, Mina sat up in bed. What if everyone had been thinking about the Nexus Stone wrong? What if it wasn't meant to be activated by technology, but by something more basic, something organic? The next morning, she returned to the lab early, before the other researchers arrived. The Nexus Stone waited in its usual place, dark and mysterious. Mina placed her hand on its surface. It was warm. As she pressed her palm against the stone, she felt a faint vibration, like a heartbeat. The surface began to glow with soft, pulsing light. Symbols appeared across its surface, flowing like water, changing and shifting in patterns that seemed almost alive. The stone was responding to her touch, to her human bioelectric field. After 3 centuries of silence, the Nexus Stone had finally awakened. The lab filled with bright light as the Nexus Stone continued to pulse under Mina's touch. Symbols flowed across its surface like liquid silver, creating patterns that seemed to dance and breathe. She had never seen anything so beautiful or terrifying. By the void, Vec whispered from behind her. What did you do? Mina kept her hand pressed against the warm stone. I just touched it, like touching a river stone. More researchers rushed into the lab as alarms began to sound. The stone's light grew brighter, and suddenly, the air above it shimmered. A 3-dimensional map appeared, floating in space, showing star systems and strange pathways between them. Arc-Dices materialized next to them, its crystalline body reflecting the stone's glow. Impossible. We have tried everything for 3 centuries. Not everything, Mina said softly, watching the floating map rotate slowly. You tried technology. You never tried just being human. Commander Rask pushed through the crowd, his scaled face twisted with anger. This is some kind of trick. Humans cannot succeed where we have failed. The evidence is right there. Vec pointed at the glowing map with 2 of his 6 arms. The map showed dozens of star systems connected by thin lines of light. At certain points, the lines converged into bright nodes that pulsed with energy. As Mina moved her hand on the stone's surface, different sections of the map became brighter. These are threshold gates, Thesis said, its voice filled with wonder. Ancient transportation portals. We theorized about them, but never found proof. Not just proof, Mina realized, studying the patterns, instructions. This shows how to activate them. A Morden researcher floated closer, its misty form rippling with excitement. If these gates still work, they could revolutionize galactic travel. Ships could cross the galaxy in days instead of months, or hours instead of days. another scientist added. Commander Rosk's eyes narrowed. And who would control this technology? Who would decide which species can use these gates? That's not important right now, Mina said. What matters is understanding what we've found. But Rosk was already leaving the lab, speaking rapidly into a communication device. Several other sector researchers followed him. Mina noticed similar conversations happening among different species groups. The discovery that should have united them was already creating divisions. Over the next few days, Mina worked around the clock to decode the information from the Nexus Stone. The map showed not just the locations of threshold gates, but details about their construction and operation. It was the most significant archaeological discovery in galactic history. Vec stayed with her, helping translate some of the ancient symbols. These gates use quantum entanglement on a massive scale, he explained excitedly. 2 gates become connected across space. Step into one, appear at the other instantly. The implications are staggering, Mina agreed. Trade routes, exploration, communication, everything would change. But not everyone was happy about the changes, Mina began, noticing strange things around the station. Her research files were accessed when she wasn't there. Her personal quarters were searched. Conversation stopped when she entered rooms. Something's wrong, she told Vec during one of their late-night work sessions. People are acting strange. Vec's compound eyes shifted nervously. I've heard rumors. Some species are unhappy that a human made this discovery. What kind of rumors? They say humans are too young, too violent. That giving us access to ancient technology is dangerous. Commander Rosk has been holding private meetings with other species leaders. The next morning, Mina arrived at the lab to find her workspace destroyed. Equipment was broken, data tablets were missing, and someone had tried to damage the Nexus Stone itself. Fortunately, the ancient artifact was too strong to be easily harmed. Who did this? She demanded. Other researchers gathered around, but their faces showed no surprise. They had expected this. Perhaps, said a Morden elder, this is a sign that some discoveries are not meant for certain species. You think I don't deserve to study this because I'm human? You are young, the elder replied. Your people fight wars, destroy planets, create weapons from peaceful technology. How can we trust you with something so powerful? The same way you trust each other, Mina shot back. Every species here has a history of conflict. The sector conquered 3 systems before joining the collective. The Morden had civil wars that lasted centuries. That was long ago. We have evolved. So have humans. We're here, aren't we? Working together, sharing knowledge. But the damage was done. Word of the discovery had spread beyond the station. Representatives from various galactic governments were demanding access to the information. Trade guilds were calculating how the gates might affect their profits. Military leaders were wondering if the gates could be weaponized. Archon called an emergency meeting of the collective's ruling council. Mina was ordered to attend, along with representatives from all 7 species. The council chamber was a circular room, with seats arranged around a central platform. Each species had their designated area, with the humans represented only by Mina herself. She felt very small and very alone. We must vote on this matter, Thesis announced. Should the human researcher be allowed to continue studying the Nexus Stone? Should humanity be granted access to threshold gate technology? Commander Rosk stood first. The sector vote no. Humans are too unpredictable, too violent. This technology could destroy the galaxy if they control it. A Morden representative agreed. We also vote no. Humans lack the wisdom to handle such power responsibly. One by one, the species voted. The aquatic Geth worried about human expansion into their territories. The mechanical Vorth feared humans would reverse engineer their technology. Even some of Mina's former supporters began to waver. Only Vex people, the Chithri, voted to support her. The Chithari believe knowledge belongs to all species, Vec declared. Dr. Mina has proven her worth through her discoveries. But it wasn't enough. The final vote was 5-2 against humanity's continued participation. I'm sorry, Thesis said, its crystalline form dimming with what might have been sadness. The decision is made. You must leave the station. All your research will remain here, under collective control. As security forces escorted Mina from the chamber, she saw Vec in the crowd. His compound eyes were wet with something that might have been tears. I'll find a way to get your data, he whispered as she passed. This isn't over. But as Mina was led away from everything she had worked for, she wondered if her friend was wrong. Maybe it was over. Maybe humans would always be seen as too primitive, too dangerous for the larger galactic community. She had unlocked the greatest discovery in galactic history, and now it was being taken from her people, simply because of fear and prejudice. The breakthrough that should have elevated humanity had instead led to their exile. The security escort led Mina through the station's corridors toward the docking bay. Her personal belongings fit in a single bag. Everything else she had worked for now belonged to the collective. Other researchers watched her leave, some with pity, others with satisfaction. You have 1 hour before your transport departs, the sector guard told her. Do not attempt to access any research terminals. Mina nodded silently. There was nothing left to say. As they walked, she noticed something strange. Groups of researchers were having urgent conversations in corners and empty rooms. The station felt tense, like something was about to happen. At the docking bay, Vec appeared suddenly from behind a cargo container. The guards didn't see him approach. Mina, he whispered quickly, I copied your research files, all of it. He pressed a small data device into her hand. There's something else. I overheard Commander Rask talking to someone called Admiral Park. They mentioned Earth and attacking your colonies. What? Mina's blood turned cold. When? I don't know. But they said the hegemony has been planning this for weeks. They're using your discovery as an excuse. The hegemony, shadow organization. They control most galactic trade routes. The threshold gates would destroy their business, so they want to make sure humans never get access to the technology. Before Mina could ask more questions, the guards noticed Vec and shooed him away. As her transport prepared to leave, Mina clutched the data device like a lifeline. At least her work wasn't completely lost. The journey back to human space took 3 days. During that time, Mina tried to contact Earth's government to warn them about the possible attack. But her communications were blocked. The collective had cut off all diplomatic channels with humanity. She finally reached the human colony at New Sol, a mining station on the edge of known space. The station administrator, Colonel Yang, greeted her with grim news. Dr. Mina, thank goodness, you're safe. We lost contact with Busan Station 6 hours ago. Long-range sensors show unknown ships in that sector. It's starting, Mina said. The attack Vec warned me about. She quickly explained what she had learned about the hegemony and their plans. Colonel Yang listened with growing alarm. We need to warn Earth immediately, he said. But our communication array was damaged by some kind of electronic interference. We think it was sabotage. As if summoned by their conversation, an aide rushed into the room. Sir, we're receiving a galaxy-wide broadcast. You need to see this. The main screen activated, showing Admiral Park Do-Yan in the uniform of the hegemony fleet. He was a human, but Mina had never seen him before. His face was cold and professional. Citizens of the galaxy, Park began. Today, hegemony forces have taken action against the aggressive expansion of the human species. Evidence has been discovered that humans planned to steal ancient technology and use it to dominate peaceful worlds. That's a lie, Mina whispered. The attacks on human colonies are not acts of war, but necessary police actions to protect galactic security. Any human vessels found in neutral space will be detained. This action is supported by the Kethmoran Research Collective, and 5 major galactic governments. The broadcast continued with images of burning space stations and destroyed human ships. Mina recognized Busan Station among the wreckage. Thousands of people lived there. Thousands of innocent people. "How many colonies have we lost?" she asked quietly. "4 confirmed destroyed," Colonel Yang replied. 3 more under attack. Earth's main fleet is 6 days away at best, and the hegemony has the support of half the galaxy, apparently. They're calling humans a rogue species that must be contained. Mina felt sick. Her discovery had been twisted into an excuse for genocide. The very people she had hoped to bring humanity closer to were now hunting them down. Over the next few days, the news got worse. Earth's outer colonies fell, one by one, to hegemony forces. The attacks were swift and brutal, designed to terrorize rather than just defeat. Refugee ships fled toward the inner systems, carrying stories of entire stations being destroyed without warning. Admiral Park appeared in more broadcasts, always calm and reasonable. He explained that humans were too dangerous to be allowed advanced technology. He showed footage of Earth's wars and conflicts, painting humanity as violent barbarians who would destroy the galaxy if given the chance. "The threshold gates represent the pinnacle of ancient civilization," he said in one broadcast. "They cannot be allowed to fall into the hands of a species that still fights wars over resources and territory." Mina watched these broadcasts from New Seoul, feeling helpless. She was one of the few humans who truly understood what the gates could do. But she was trapped on a mining station while her people were being slaughtered. "I should never have opened that stone," she told Colonel Yang. "You did nothing wrong," he replied. "You made a discovery that could have helped everyone. They chose to use it as a weapon against us." But Mina couldn't shake the guilt. Every time she saw footage of destroyed colonies, she remembered the moment she first touched the Nexus Stone. If she had never made that breakthrough, would any of this have happened? Vec managed to send her encrypted messages when he could. The station was now completely under hegemony control. The other species were being told that humans had attempted to steal the Nexus Stone and escape with it. Many believed the lies. "Some of us know the truth," Vec wrote, "but we are few, and we are watched. The hegemony has turned the collective into their puppet." "I'm sorry, Mina. I'm so sorry." The messages stopped coming after a week. Mina feared the worst for her only alien friend. Earth's response finally came. Admiral Lee Junho's voice cut through the static of damaged communication arrays, reaching every human settlement that could still receive signals. "To all human colonies and ships, do not surrender. Do not negotiate. They have chosen to hunt us like animals based on lies and fear. But they have made one mistake. They have underestimated what humans do when our families are threatened." The Admiral's next words sent chills down Mina's spine. "We are coming for them, and we will show the galaxy what happens when you corner a species that has survived ice ages, plagues, and world wars. They wanted to see human violence. They're about to learn the difference between our capacity for war and our willingness to use it." As Admiral Lee's message ended, Mina realized that everything was about to change. The galaxy had seen humans as primitive and dangerous. Now, they were about to discover just how dangerous humans could be when fighting for survival. The hegemony had succeeded in isolating humanity from the galactic community, but in doing so, they had also freed humans from any obligation to fight by galactic rules. The real war was about to begin. Admiral Lee Junho stood on the bridge of the Earth battleship Determination, staring at the tactical display showing destroyed human colonies. Each red dot represented thousands of dead civilians. His jaw was tight with controlled anger. "Status report," he ordered. 14 colonies lost, sir," Captain Choi Hanna reported. "But we've received intelligence from Dr. Mina about hegemony supply lines and fleet positions." "Good. The aliens think they know how humans fight because they've seen our history books. They expect large fleets, direct confrontations, honorable battles. Lee's eyes were cold. They're about to learn that humans fight very differently when our families are at stake. The first human response came not from battleships, but from small, fast ships that appeared seemingly from nowhere. Captain Nam Taiho led a squadron of modified mining vessels that struck hegemony supply convoys deep in neutral space. The aliens expected human ships to attack head-on, but instead, they found their cargo vessels disappearing without a trace. How are they doing it? Admiral Park demanded during a hegemony command meeting. Our sensors show nothing. Then suddenly, our ships are gone. His aide, a nervous sector officer, checked his reports. The human ships appear to be using asteroid fields as cover, sir. They hide among the rocks until our convoys pass, then strike from behind. Impossible. No species fights that way. It's underhanded. It's working, sir. We've lost 12 supply ships this week. Admiral Park had studied human military history. He knew about their wars, their weapons, their strategies. But the history, books told of armies facing each other on battlefields, of fleets meeting in space for decisive battles. This was something else entirely. Commander Song Kiwoo was leading the strangest military operation the galaxy had ever seen. Instead of attacking hegemony military bases, human forces targeted their infrastructure. Power stations went offline. Communication networks failed. Trade routes became unsafe as merchant ships reported mysterious technical problems. Sir, a hegemony technician reported, the Vorth manufacturing stations are reporting system failures. Their automated factories have stopped working. Sabotage. We think so. But we can't find any evidence of human infiltrators. What the hegemony didn't know was that humans had spent decades learning alien technology from peaceful trade and scientific exchange. Now that knowledge was being used in ways no one had anticipated. Human hackers, led by Dr. Park Ji-yoon from Earth's Cyber Defense Division, had found ways to disrupt alien computer systems from across the galaxy. The beautiful thing about integrated galactic networks, Dr. Park explained to her team, is that everything is connected. We don't need to physically access their systems. We just need to send the right signals through their own communication channels. The psychological warfare was even more devastating. Captain Yoon, Jisoo, specialized in what she called fear campaigns. Human ships would appear on the edge of hegemony-controlled systems, just long enough to be detected, then vanish. Alien. Crews began reporting human ships in empty space, phantom signals that appeared and disappeared. They're everywhere and nowhere, a Geth captain reported to his superiors. We see them on sensors, but when we investigate, there's nothing there. My crew is starting to panic. The hegemony had expected humans to gather their fleets for a massive counterattack that could be defeated in a single decisive battle. Instead, they faced an enemy that struck from shadows, disrupted their operations in ways they didn't understand, and seemed to know their every move before they made it. Dr. Mina, still stranded on New Sol, was providing crucial intelligence. Her understanding of alien psychology helped human commanders predict hegemony responses. She knew that sector commanders would become aggressive when frustrated, that Morden leaders would retreat into lengthy debates when faced with unexpected tactics, and that Geth forces would become paralyzed by uncertainty. Target their process, she advised Admiral Lee during a secure communication. They expect orderly warfare with clear rules. Chaos terrifies them more than weapons. The most shocking moment came when the hegemony's main supply depot at Kepler Station simply went dark. No battle, no explosions, no distress signals. One day it was operating normally. The next day it was empty, except for automated systems playing human music. How did they evacuate an entire station without anyone noticing? Admiral Park asked his staff. Sir, we don't think it was evacuated, his intelligence officer replied nervously. We think the personnel left voluntarily. What do you mean? The humans didn't attack the station. They talked to it. Somehow they convinced the alien workers that continuing to support the war was wrong. Half the staff resigned and left. The other half started sabotaging their own operations. This was perhaps the most uniquely human aspect of the war. While alien species thought in terms of military conquest and submission, humans understood the power of changing minds. Captain Li Minjung led teams of negotiators who contacted alien civilians directly, bypassing their governments. "We're not your enemies," the human broadcasts said. "We're being hunted because we discovered something that threatens the profits of a few powerful corporations. Ask yourselves, who benefits from this war? Is it you, or is it the hegemony leaders, who live safely while you fight and die?" The messages spread across alien social networks, faster than governments could stop them. For the first time, ordinary citizens of hegemony-allied species began questioning why they were fighting humans who had never threatened them personally. Within 6 weeks, the hegemony went from confident dominance to barely controlled chaos. Their supply lines were disrupted, their communications were unreliable, their personnel were defecting, and their civilian populations were asking uncomfortable questions. Admiral Park found himself fighting an enemy he couldn't locate, understand, or predict. Every time he tried to apply conventional military tactics, the humans did something that made no sense, according to galactic warfare principles. "Sir," his aide reported during what would be their final staff meeting, "human forces are requesting a meeting. They want to discuss terms. They're in no position to make demands. We still control most of the major systems." "Actually, sir, I'm not sure we do. Our latest reports suggest that most of our allied species are considering withdrawal from the alliance." The humans have managed to turn this from a military conflict into a political crisis. Admiral Park stared at the tactical display, realizing that the primitive species he had so confidently attacked had somehow outmaneuvered the entire hegemony using methods that weren't even in their military textbooks. The humans had proven that sometimes the most advanced warfare isn't about better weapons or larger fleets. Sometimes it's about understanding that every war is ultimately fought between people. And humans had spent their entire history learning how to change people's minds. The final battle was about to begin at Station Kepler 7, the same place where Mina's journey had started months ago. The station had been transformed into Admiral Park's fortress, bristling with weapons and surrounded by the last loyal hegemony ships. But Mina wasn't looking at the military preparations. She was thinking about her friend Vec, somewhere inside that station. "Are you ready for this?" Captain Yoon, Jisoo asked, as they prepared to board the assault shuttle. Behind them, human Marines checked their weapons one last time. "I have to be," Mina replied, clutching the data device that contained all her research on the threshold gates. "This ends today, one way or another." Admiral Lee's voice came through the communication system. "All units, remember the plan. We're not here to destroy the station. We're here to rescue the scientists who've been held prisoner and stop the hegemony from using the Nexus Stone as a weapon." Mina had learned the truth from intercepted communications. The hegemony wasn't just trying to keep humans away from the gate technology. They were planning to use it themselves, but in the worst possible way. Instead of opening pathways for peaceful travel, they wanted to create gates that could transport weapons directly into enemy territory. The assault began with something no one expected. As human ships approached the station, several hegemony vessels suddenly stopped firing and turned away from the battle. "What's happening?" Admiral Park demanded from his command center. "Sir, the Chithari ships are refusing to fight," his aide reported. "They're saying they won't fire on Dr. Mina." "Mutiny." "No, sir. They're saying this is about honor and friendship. They claim Dr. Mina showed them kindness when no one else would." On the bridge of the lead Chithari vessel, Vec was speaking to his captain. "She never looked down on us because we were smaller or different. When others called humans primitive, she treated us as equals. That means something." More alien ships began pulling back from the battle. A group of young Mordant scientists had taken control of their vessel's communication system and were broadcasting messages across the fleet. "We have worked with Dr. Mina," they said. "We have seen her dedication to knowledge and truth. The hegemony lies to us. They say humans are violent, but the only violence we have seen comes from those who attack innocent people." Admiral Park watched his alliance crumble in real time. Fire on the mutinous ships. "Sir, that would mean firing on our own allies." "They're not our allies anymore. Anyone who won't fight the humans is a traitor." But the sector commanders were having their own problems. Many of their junior officers had been influenced by human psychological warfare and were questioning their orders when commanded to fire on other alien species. Several sector ships simply powered down their weapons. The human assault teams landed on the station with much less resistance than expected. Captain Yoon's Marines found that many corridors were undefended because alien security forces had abandoned their posts. Mina made her way to the main research lab, the same place where she had first discovered the Nexus Stone's secrets. She found Vec there, alone, standing guard over the ancient artifact. "Vec." She ran to him, relief flooding through her. Double quotes, "Mina, I knew you would come back." His compound eyes were bright with joy. "I've been protecting the stone from Admiral Park's technicians. They want to corrupt its purpose. Where is everyone else?" "Most of the scientists left when the fighting started, but some of us stayed. We couldn't let them turn your beautiful discovery into a weapon." Admiral Park appeared in the doorway with a squad of loyal guards. His face was twisted with anger and desperation. "Dr. Kim Mina, the primitive human who started this whole disaster." "I didn't start anything," Mina replied calmly. "I made a discovery. You chose to use it as an excuse for war. Your people are destroying the natural order of the galaxy. For thousands of years, we've had peace through proper hierarchy. Then humans arrive with their chaos, and everything falls apart." "You mean your prophets fell apart," Vex said, surprising everyone with his boldness. "The hegemony never cared about peace. You only cared about controlling trade routes." Park raised his weapon toward Vec, but Mina stepped between them. "Don't. He's done nothing wrong. He's a traitor to his own species. He's loyal to his friends. There's a difference." The standoff was interrupted by Captain Yoon and her Marines entering the lab. They had Admiral Park outnumbered, but he still had his weapon pointed at Mina. "One move, and she dies," Park warned. "And then what?" Mina asked. "You'll still be surrounded. Your fleet is deserting. Your alliance has collapsed. What exactly do you think you can accomplish here?" Park's eyes moved to the Nexus Stone. "I can make sure humans never benefit from what you discovered. I can destroy it. You can't destroy it. It survived for millions of years, but I can make sure no one else can use it." Park began adjusting settings on a portable explosive device. "If I can't control the gates, then no one can have them." Mina looked at the stone, then at her friends, then at the man who had caused so much death and suffering. She made her choice. "Computer, activate emergency protocols," she called out. The station's AI responded immediately. "Emergency activation confirmed. Transferring all Nexus Stone data to galactic networks." "What are you doing?" Park demanded. "Something that should have been done from the beginning," Mina replied. "I'm sharing the threshold gate technology with everyone, every species, every government, every scientist who wants to study it. No one person or organization will control it." The data began broadcasting across the galaxy on all frequencies. Within minutes, every major civilization would have complete instructions for building and operating threshold gates. "You've doomed us all," Park screamed. "No," Vex said quietly. "She's freed us all." Admiral Lee's voice came through the communication system. "All hegemony forces, this is Admiral Lee. Your leader's plan has failed. The gate technology now belongs to everyone. There's no point in continuing this fight." One by one, the remaining Hegemony ships powered down their weapons and requested permission to leave. The war was over. Months later, Mina stood on the observation deck of the newly renamed Harmony Station, watching as the first interspecies expedition prepared to test an actual threshold gate. Representatives from dozens of worlds were working together, using her discovery to explore the galaxy as she had always dreamed. Vec joined her at the viewing window. "Do you think we did the right thing?" "I think we did the only thing that made sense," Mina replied. "Knowledge belongs to everyone, not just the powerful." Below them, the gate activated for the first time, creating a shimmering portal to distant stars. The age of galactic unity had begun, built on the foundation of friendship between the human who was welcomed by strangers and the alien who chose to stand by her when it mattered most. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was exactly what it needed.